Hi, y'all, and thank you for joining me today for our Sew Together. So this week's project was the fabric envelope, which had the flap closure and the rear pocket. In the poll that I posted on Wednesday, you all voted that you would like to see me increase the size of this project and add depth to the project. So that's what we're going to do today. I have prepped some of the panels for you that involve the same steps that we used in that original project. And so I'm going to show you those pieces now. I have the exterior panel with the strap in place, and I will list all of the measurements for these larger pieces in the blog post when we repost the recording of this class. And so I have that front exterior panel here, and then I have the rear exterior panel with the pocket in place. And you'll notice that there are notches cut out of the bottom of this pocket. And that's how we're going to get the depth for this project. So for this project, which will be approximately 4 inches deep, I have cut out 2-inch squares from the base of that exterior panel. And so this one, you'll notice, does not have the notches cut out. So I'm going to adjust that camera there and then show you how I do that. I just measure and get a 2-inch square, and then I lay that right on top of that panel, and I go ahead and cut around that 2-inch square. And so you're notching out the bottom right and left hand corner of the exterior panels, which, if you're curious, those exterior panels measure 13 inches across by 10 inches tall. And so I am going to give this project 4 inches in depth, and that's why we take 2 inches out from each side. And so now my exterior panels are prepped. This is the front, which has the strap for the flap. And then this is the rear, which has that nice slip pocket. And so you're going to take those panels and position them right sides facing, and you will align the base and the sides of that nice and tidy. And then you're going to want to pin that in place. For this larger version, I did use quilt batting on the back of that rather than the Pellon, which I used for the smaller envelope. And the reason is because this might want to be washed, and the batting is going to wash up nicer. So this is what you have now. Now what you need to do is sew down the sides and across the base. You do not want to stitch in these notched corners at this point. And for this project, I'm going to use 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And I'm going to go ahead and mute myself so you don't have to hear the machine while I sew. Okay, so now I've stitched up the sides and across the base. I'm going to go ahead and remove the pins so that I don't accidentally poke myself as I work with these corners to add the depth to this project. And so now, to create the depth for this project, you're going to pull on that area where we cut out the squares, and you want to carefully align the side seam and the base seam. And you're welcome to open up those seams if you need to. A lot of that is going to depend upon your machine. I think it sews a little nicer if you do open up those seams. And of course, you want to make sure that nothing's getting wrinkled in there. So feel that good and flatten that down nice. This is when the clover clips are very handy to hold that seam down. And so I'm just going to repeat that process on the opposite side and flatten out those seams and then make sure everything lays nice and flat. And now I want to stitch across that corner using the same 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and that's going to give the project its depth. Okay, so the interior is crafted in the exact same way, and I have fit that inside. And then the flap, I just use that little bit of accent on that, and it is crafted in the exact same manner. Then I'm going to tuck that flap in between the interior and the exterior, just as we did before, and test fit everything. Make sure that it functions properly, and it does. It's super, super cute. Okay, and then the last step is to sew all the way around the perimeter of this to attach the flap and the interior and the exterior. So the easiest way to do that is to remove the machine deck and then fit this up on the deck. I like to start at the side seam and then work around the flap first so that I can keep everything in place and prevent any shifting. And that turned out super cute. And you can see how using that same technique, you can create a completely different look with two projects that would serve very different purposes. This might be great in a travel bag or as a cosmetic bag, even as a small clutch or purse. And this is perfect for keeping patterns and small documents and correspondence, maybe organizing. And I could see a big stack of these all together. So lots of fun options with one simple construction technique. So be sure to check back on the main blog page on Monday for the Sewing Club for a detailed video that'll be pre-recorded on making bag straps. And then if you're up early on Monday morning, you can join me and your fellow club members at 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time or 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for a cup of coffee and a little bit of sewing chat. It's always fun if you'll turn on your video cameras so we can see your sewing space. Everybody loves that. So I invite our early birds to join me then. And then I will see everyone hopefully tomorrow for our Sew and Tell. That's your opportunity to show off your projects. So I hope you have a chance to make the remake of the fabric envelope or anything else that you've been working on. You're welcome to bring that and show it off. And again, you're invited to turn on your video so everybody can see your smiling face and your projects. That would be so wonderful. I'm going to put all the pattern measurements for this revised version in the blog post so you'll have everything in one place. If you have any special requests for future projects after we finish the Bag Maker series, you're welcome to email those to me, or also you can leave those in the comments. And then just one final reminder that all of our chats are recorded. Some of that content is used to promote the sewing club. So if for any reason you did not want to participate in that, you are of course welcome to turn off your video. It was an absolute pleasure to sew with you. I look forward to growing our membership base here in the Sewing Club, and I encourage you to share with your friends and family who might like to learn how to sew or even already know how to sew. The more, the merrier. So until we meet again, so happy, my sweet friends, and be well. Thank you.